Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. We are right back on the Ford Super Duty dump truck build where we're taking a couple scrap trucks, probably a third parts truck at some point, and trying to make one decent rig out of the whole thing and learning along the way. I've never done anything like this and I opted to build one instead of buy one just so I can learn some things. Previous videos we cut out and patched out this floor pan using some scrap metal pieces which turned out pretty decent, rust inhibitor, seam sealer, and bed liner on top of it. And now we're getting ready to get into the guts of the engine compartment, doing the same thing, getting everything in here all cleaned up. Anything that needs painted and rust treated, just like this section here we already did, that's what we're trying to get done. That's going to include getting this frame pressure washed and that engine compartment all pressure washed and seeing if we can't get it cleaned up, ready for paint. There's a ton of work to do and the goal is to get this thing up and running by March. I don't know if we're going to make that deadline, but if we got any chance of doing that, we got to get right to work. A huge part of keeping a project like this on track and moving, well, one is going to be a little bit of electricity. Get the AC turned on. Look at that, some lights. Is making sure that the parts we need, we got them coming and everything's staged and ready when we get to that. So I actually need to take a quick inventory of everything I've got and what I need to get ordered to keep this moving. And I need to get some of this trash out. We got the engine mounts cleaned up, painted, and ready to go to accept that 460. But I'd like to get brand new bolts put in there as well, so I need to figure out what size these are and how many I need. This one looks like I can reuse these two. Slightly bigger though. I'd have to drill those out, but that's what I gotta do. Am I the only one that walks into the hardware store with a cardboard mount and a bunch of bolts on it? The other thing I need to check is I ordered engine mounts for that 460 because I broke one of them getting the engine out. And it's just a good time to replace them now anyway. You make sure these are right. They look absolutely perfect. That's exactly what they're supposed to look like. Bolt pattern's the same. Yep. Check the other side. Yeah, we're golden there. Very nice. And I also have new freeze plugs coming in and a new starter, and I've already checked those. Just seems like a good time to get those old ones out and put some new ones in. Not gonna have much better access than this once it's back in the rig. Battery tray is good to go. We got that fixed up. Slide that back up on the part shelf. The other big thing I want to replace while we got the dash out is all of the ductwork. Tell it's a little brittle, past its prime. I need to get the size of this and get a bunch of it ordered. Definitely need more primer. I definitely need some more wire wheels. I've worn mine down pretty good. She's worn down pretty decent. Couple more of these would definitely help out. We got fuel pump on here and some other things. So we'll have to see what the local mom and pop shops have, but I'll keep you updated. Making sure I got the parts I need on hand is what's gonna keep this project moving. I do wanna go ahead and pull the pump out of this one. I got the two tanks. This came off the F350 and it's not in terrible shape, honestly. But I think you can see visually this one's just a little bit cleaner. We'll end up cleaning it up and repainting it, but let's pull that pump out. This was a diesel, so it's probably gonna have a different style pump. This ring we gotta tap out, hit on these tabs, get that spun around to where that little keeper lines up there, and then we can pop this thing out. This is your reminder that I don't know what I'm doing. We're just making it up as we go. Fair enough. There we go. You can see the pickup tubes aren't necessarily in the best shape. We even got some rust jacking going on that one. Probably a good idea to pick up a new one. I was gonna go get Dirt Perfect's portable pressure washer, but by the time I go get that and get it up here, I could have just had this drug over to the house and just used my gas pressure washer. The grease appears being pretty stubborn. Not too surprising. I went ahead and threw some degreaser on it. We're going to let that soak just a little bit, and then we'll hit it again. But while we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the old 7.3 wiring out of the way and off the frame. And then once we get that off, I can take that cup wheel on the grinder and start getting her cleaned up. I'd like to get it all cleaned up over here, so that way we can rinse all the dust and stuff off once we're done with the grinder. We'll still have to do a final wipe down over at the pole barn before we paint, but save us a little bit of trouble. Now that made a pretty big difference, but there's still quite a bit on there. I'm gonna rerun some degreaser on here. By the way, when I say degreaser, this is what I use for degreaser. I've used industrial degreasers. They work, but this is kind of nice, especially since we got the animals and stuff up here. It's a little bit more forgiving to life as far as that goes. I'm gonna run a brush this time as well. Scrub it in, let it soak one more time, and I think that'll be it. This is definitely, without a doubt, I would say, the least fun step of the whole project. It's the pressure washing, the cleaning, the getting all the old stuff off so you can get the new stuff on. There's just not a good way to do it other than paying somebody. Y'all know we're not doing that. On the bright side, at least it's not too crazy cold right now. It's like 40 today, so that's not bad. So according to the POR 15 or POR 15, however you want to say it, you just got to get all the heavy flaky stuff off, loose debris off. Same stuff you would do if you're getting ready to do paint prep. You want a good, decent, clean surface. However, the advantage of it is if there's any rust on it, we can paint over that rust. Anytime I've ever seen that POR 15 not work for somebody, it's just been poor surface prep. So hopefully we can get this cleaned up as good as we need to. We're not going to do the bottom over here at the house. We're going to do the bottom back over at the pole barn. Definitely a step in the right direction. Pretty excited about that. Let's hit this with the pressure washer one more time, and then we'll crawl underneath and do a little wire wheel work down there as well. And I got one more trick up my sleeve too as far as getting this grease off here. Whenever we built a house, we installed a hot water spigot. The only catch is I only have as much water that's in the hot water tank. That's why I kind of did a general pressure wash first to get the bulk of it off, and then hopefully with 2 rounds of some degreaser and hot water we can get her polished up. Well, it's the following day. It's already 10:30, but I spent the morning going around and rounding some stuff up, and I got a little carried away. The tractor store that I normally go to here recently got bought out by another brand, which means they've got all the old stuff on clearance. And I kind of realized that when I went in today. Look at this. Some pre-clean. $10 for this thing. You can't pass up on deals like that. A bunch of wire brushes and stuff. Brand new bolts for the motor mounts. So I'm just going to crawl underneath and do the bottom side. And then I got all that degreaser. We're going to get everything wiped down real good and get ready to put some paint on it. A ton of people ask about my face shield in the last video. I've used this for a while. It's from Benchmark Abrasives. It's molded out on the bottom where you can put a respirator underneath as well. I just like the full face piece. I got the safety glasses and I'm wearing quite a bit. But if you've ever ran a wire wheel, you know these little fellas fly off the entire time. And safety glasses, it's good for your eyes, but you're just getting pelted with stuff in the face and the neck the whole time. So I like the full face piece for this. Now, if a person wanted to, or they had the time, or they planned on doing this a whole bunch of times over and over and over again, it'd be best to just go ahead and take the whole cab off, build you a rotisserie for the cab so you can spin it around to get everything you need, build you a rotisserie for the frame so you can spin the frame around to get everything you need. That's definitely the easiest way to do it. It gives you good, easy access to everything, but building a rotisserie definitely takes time, and popping the cab off definitely takes a little bit of time. And since we're only doing one of these and the people need the content, we're just doing it the hard way. Sometimes the hard way is still the quickest way to do it, and I just really need to get this thing done so we can get back on the YouTube yacht by March. That's the goal. I'm aware that not even just a few seconds ago I said I wasn't going to take the cab off. We're going to take the cab off. Not only will it make cleaning up this frame a lot easier, these are pretty dry, rot, and nasty, so I kind of want to replace them anyway. So we'll just, oh, does this not work anymore? Are we past our prime? Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, that's better. There we go. And then we're gonna have some random things like that ground strap and steering wheel, I guess. By the way, previous episodes I've touted the luxury of using sleds for creepers on gravel. Turns out the boogie board, that's where it's at. It's padded even, you know? The luxury of the sled with the padding. It's fantastic. Oh. Look at us, learning together like a couple of buddies. We're not though, all right, don't call me. Now the access hole makes sense. Can you, where is it? There it is. Huh? Now what do we do with it? I mean, we got a backhoe. That'd probably be the tool for the job. The battery's gonna be the real question here. Oh, check out my Bob Ross air freshener. Happy little smells. Okay, let's see what she's got. Look at her sitting here though. Tires aired up. She's just ready to go. She's just almost ready to go. Charged? Oh yeah, a full charge. She's just always almost ready, you know? Okay. I don't know if this is the best spot. I'm a little worried as we lift, it's going to try to squeeze together and mess up the windshield. I don't know. The balance point, as far as where that's at, we'll see what happens here. This is one of those classic, just make a decision and go from there. Well, that's slightly terrifying. Either going to make things better or worse. Well, she's lifted in the back, but not the front. Okay. case you didn't have a good idea of the length of this chassis with the cab on, kind of tells the whole story now. Definitely gonna make cleaning this up a lot easier. Don't be too stubborn and change your mind sometimes. It's hard. We're set in our ways. And then when you get an idea in your head, I get it. You just want to stick to it and go. I'm glad I took the time to do this though. That's gonna make it a lot easier. Well, heck, enough chatting. Let's get to work. So I did a cup wheel on most of this just because it covers a whole bunch of area. We're going to switch over to this so we can kind of get in these nooks and crannies a little bit better, and then we'll switch to this on the drill so we can get around the bolt heads and the rivets just a little bit better. We got quite a bit more wire wheeling, then we'll be on to some degreasing. And I'm pretty positive we're going to flop this thing upside down and do the bottom side, because let's see if we can get this thing flopped up on its side. Sure, that'll go. Nice, very smooth. That was good. Pull it back just a little bit, and I can actually get alongside of it. And I put the chain up there. A little lift and push should allow us to flop it over. This is the heaviest side, so when I pick up from back there, the weight of this keeps this side down. Torsion, now who knows? Axle is wider than the loader lifts tall, so we'll just leave that hooked, throw a prop in here for a kickstand and run it like that, I think. Final little step with this here. I just took the blow nozzle and blew everything off really good. Looks pretty decent. The only last thing that I really want to take off before we do this, I want to take these spring mounts off. The bolts on that one are questionable, as are the ones on this one. And I'd like to just go ahead and replace them with some new bolts, so we might as well go ahead and take them off. That way we can get that cleaned off just a little bit better. And then I think we'll be good to go. As far as the suspension goes, I'm not gonna mess with that now. You can see it's pretty much a pretty nasty mess yet. So I don't really feel like messing with that now. I don't feel like I have the mental energy to do a good job on it. So we're just gonna leave that. Not a big deal. I wanna replace those gas shocks at some point anyway. Take the tire off. Whenever we do that gas shock, we can get in there, clean it up better, and then just do the suspension components. But at least this way we'll have the bulk of the frame done and ready. I think while we're at it, we ought to go ahead and replace these bolts. This section of frame doesn't look bad here. But those they don't look great, you know? It's a good thing I picked one of these up this morning while I was in town. Tip's pretty dirty. Well, that's a little aggressive. Going nice and easy on these because I'm laying on the ground. I don't want to blow a bunch back at me, and I'm honestly just melting the bolt and letting it drip down. Not really doing a whole lot of cutting as much as I am just letting this thing melt and drip its way out. So I'm trying not to mess the bracket up as well. Sense. That's the one we torched off. Looks good, bracket looks good. And then we did 4 of them on this one. It's got a little slag left over on it, but didn't get into the bracket. Same on that one, and that one, and that one. That'll work. These are going to live out here until they cool off, and then we can take them in the shop, clean up that back side, and get them all repainted before we remount them. And that's where that bracket was, so probably not the worst idea to get that off and get everything cleaned up behind there. Well, I'd sincerely hoped to have this thing painted by the end of this video, but I'm glad we kind of changed course, took the cab off, and took the time to take some extra things off and get a little more in-depth on the, I don't want to call it restoration, but on the paint job on the frame. I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's going to allow us to do a better job of it anyway. That is a heavy, heavy frame, and it's really in good shape, and I love it. Hope you guys love it, because the next video, we are going to be painting it. We're going to get her all degreased again, get her wiped down, cleaned up, get some paint rolled on her, clean up some more brackets and get them painted, and maybe take that cab and carefully flop it up on its back so we can do the bottom side of it. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. I may change my mind on that too. I hope you guys don't change your mind on subscribing. That's a terrible outro. I don't know. Thanks for watching. That's a good one. And hope to catch you on the next one.